Hi and welcome to part two. I'd just like to go through some of the phrases and expressions I use so that people aren't sat at home scratching their heads on this stuff. One of the things you'll hear me say regularly is a near side position, and this is it. Close to the near side or the left hand hedge, and if you think of a car going down the road, it's where the left hand wheels would be. The other one you'll hear me say quite regularly is the crown of the road, and we're just on our way out there now. The crown of the road is a position just inside the central white line, and if you think of that car again, to start with, it's where the right hand wheels would be. You'll notice some of my positioning is a little more extreme, but I've been doing this for a few years and it will come in time. Of course, there aren't just those two positions on the road. There's a million variations and it all depends on what's happening around us at the time. I'm looking to keep the bike in the safest place on the road at all times, and that's going to change literally yard by yard. The more potential danger I see in a situation, the more I'm going to move the bike across the lane and probably adjust speed to match. One of the things that helps me to decide where to position the bike is observation. So every time I come off a bend and I've got a new view of the road ahead, I start by looking as far into the distance as I can and then working back towards myself. As I come off one bend, I'm immediately looking to position for the next one. On this piece of road, at the far end of my field of view, the road bears round to the left. So I've taken up a position on the crown of the road that firstly makes my bike visible, also extends my view into the bend, so it's the safest place for me. As with everything, of course, there's got to be compromises, and if I get oncoming vehicles, I've got to be prepared to give that position up for safety. The bigger the vehicle, the more I'm going to give it up. I'm going to let this run in real time now, and you'll see this happen, and also an unexpected visitor around the corner. Let's see that again. I give up position for safety for the oncoming vehicle. I can also see the car ahead of me is slowing and the horse rider. So I then take the power off and reposition the bike right against the near side hedge. As I pass the horse rider, there are two oncoming vehicles and I've also got that junction on the left. So I reposition the bike again to equalise the danger between the junction and the oncoming vehicles. Once I've cleared it, I can then take my position back up out towards the crown of the road and start to accelerate. I'm following this car down to a giveaway junction now where I want to turn right. I've got following traffic, so I've put a signal on and I've taken the speed off nice and early just to create some distance between the car ahead of me and myself. I'm also controlling the speed of the vehicles behind me gradually down in case I need to stop. And as I get closer, yes, I can see the junction's busy and we are going to need to stop. I bring the bike down to a smooth and controlled stop, at least a good car's length back from the one in front of me. This gives me a good view, and if he rolls back or selects reverse, I'm in a position to do something about it. I'm also constantly looking in my mirrors, and if there's any chance of me being hit from behind, I've left a safety margin where I can do something about that as well. On my way down to the junction, and as soon as I realised I was going to have to stop, I was considering which leg to land on, in this case my right one, so that my left foot's free to put the bike into neutral in case we have to wait there any length of time. Sitting there with the clutch in all the time will wear your clutch out. Also, with my right foot free, I'm ready to put the bike into gear as soon as I want to move. If I could see it was only going to be a momentary stop, I would have opted for my left leg. This would allow me to use the back brake, which gives me a lot more control over the bike at low speed. The bike remains in gear and I can hold it on the back brake, leaving my hands free to operate the accelerator and clutch as soon as I'm ready to move off. I'm constantly looking for changes in the road surface, and coming away from that junction, I kept the bike upright and did my acceleration very smoothly. You can see that the road surface is quite wet here under these trees still, where the sun hasn't reached it yet. One of the other expressions you'll hear me use is the bike under drive. And your bike's most stable when it's travelling in a straight line and with the engine just pulling, and it's how we set the bike up for corners. You might think this isn't very important, and in the dry, let's face it, you can get away with most things. But the piece of road I'm on now is damp, and when it's wet, this is really important stuff. Before I do any cornering or manoeuvring, I want to get any braking and gear changing out of the way, so that all I have to do is control the power when I come to do the manoeuvre. Normally I would have been positioned more in towards the near side to make this left turn, but because it's damp and also there's some holes in the road, I chose to position out more to create a wider arc, a more gentle turn, so I don't have to bank the bike over so much and risk losing control. Having made the turn and cleared those two cars, I've got enough view to at least move out to the crown of the road and hopefully extend that view around the left-hand bend. You'll see that I get a nice early view into a driveway on the left, but the bend itself is totally blind and I've got no view of anything. I need to give up position for safety now and move the bike back across the lane to somewhere between a mid-lane position and the near side. I've got the bike set up in the right gear, I'm at the right speed to take that bend with the engine just pulling, so under drive, and you can also see that there's actually a useful dry line I can use as I come away from the crown of the road. As I come into the bend, I'm losing that position and just gently bringing the bike back across the lane to where it's safe to be, and as I come off the bend and the view opens up, I can then bring the bike more upright, start to apply the acceleration, and then choose the point on the road where I want to be, where it's going to be safe, so I can move out towards the crown of the road to extend my view. And here's another useful observation tip. The sun's on my right, and you'll see that as I come past any of the driveways, there's a nice line of sunlight going across the road. Any vehicles or people on the driveway, I'm likely to see a shadow actually before I see them. Let's see it in real time then. Look at the position and listen to what the engine's doing. I'm coming down to a cattle grid now, so I'm going to do all my braking and changing down before I get to it, so that I can cross it upright in a straight line with the bike under drive. Then I can reapply the bank to take the left-hand bend and put the acceleration back in. Always remember, go in slow and come out quick and safe. Here it is again in real time. That's it for another day, and I hope you found this one interesting and useful. The last few minutes of the film I left running in real time so that you can see everything we've talked about put into practice to get that nice smooth flow down the road. I hope I'll see you again. Until then, stay safe.